have some bad news along with all of that, as your commentary will be me, Drago. That's not important. And off we go. Both players hopping into the intro stage. We've seen this stage many times. It's perhaps not the most exciting of stages, but if there is anything you should all be doing right here, it's picking up your mean air guitar and playing along to the intro song, because we all know this intro song really well, and it's pretty damn cool to have. It's really nice volume in here. So boat racers heading out there to our first B. Berlindude getting a machine gun B. I do believe ShadowZero had a passive there, so there's a little bit more safety here for Berlin. Going into a second machine gun B will leave quite that free low right there. And ShadowZero does get the missiles and will be heading on a 2 HP, which is actually really good because he wants to have low HP by the end of this. During this race, I would like everyone to do their best to support your favorite runner, as ShadowZero very narrowly escapes death there, almost bonking into a flyer. But do support your favorite runner with some left player, right player hype, hashtag them or anything. Just show him the love, scream it to the finish line. Berlindude having a bit of a task course for himself. On 1 HP now, well set for the vial grab. And getting his ship down, just needs to blow up a couple cars and we'll be going for it. Oh, taking it from a weird angle, second car, but all fine. ShadowZero having to drop some HP, dodging out on that drop there. And both actually almost having a sync file right there, so that's pretty cool to see. Let's see, so probably Vial may decide, oh, who's gonna be first to get grabbed? And it's Berlindude with the first grab. Not that it's really a big difference, but you know, it's always nice to see who's ahead or a little bit behind after every stage. File popping back off as a Zero comes in, the good version of ShadowZero. And with that, we will be off, going away from some of the coolest music in the game, even though it does get a little repetitive after a while. And Penguin stage will be our first, as usual, as we want to pick up our dash boots. Top pixel, the difference between any percent and 100% in this game. 100% you just pick up all of the items, pretty obviously. All of the sub-tanks, health upgrades, armor pieces, and the Easter egg of the Hadoken. In any percent you pick any items you want, unless you specifically want to run low percent, in which case you pick up nothing except items that you cannot dodge, which means any weapons and the dash boots, basically, and the armor upgrade from Zero. But that's it. So, both players, meanwhile, going on the Penguin stage. This little climb is actually the first bit of a difficult part in this game. As you can see there, ShadowZero possibly a little bit less first than the slope jumps here, but they are quite difficult, so not a big deal, not a big deal. And here we go, Berlindude picking up his dash boots. From here on out, he's gonna go fast, or well, at least we'll be trying to, let's put it that way. And yeah, as Jerked Face also points out in the chat, low percent is the most difficult way to play this game. It's extremely deadly. This game is actually extremely varied in terms of difficulty, depending on what route you will take. If you do play 100%, this game's super easy. Well, okay, kind of easy. It's perhaps not the easiest, but it's got a lot of safety in it. And yeah, low percent is boots and weapons from bosses, and that's it. If you do take low percent, later stages will kill you very quickly. The final boss takes 90% of your HP in a single hit. Meanwhile, yeah, Berlindude going up against Penguin. Penguin, very well known. We all see him every race sliding around. We don't want to see all the slides. Berlindude getting his fair share. I do believe his big shot there, one Dot Penguin. Not too many slides so far. I believe 3, 2. Yeah, we do have a 3 counter for Berlin, if I'm not mistaken. Counting both is not so easy. And it gets pretty good, decent kill time. And ShadowZero still managing his best. Doing some wall climbing, because he doesn't want to get shot by the Penguin. Mind that shots by Penguin are not too painful, but however, if you get a little body slam from that mini Snorlax over there, that's quite hurt a little bit. In low percent, yes, health pickups are not allowed. However, it is an any percent tournament, so technically you can do anything you want. Oh wait, you mean health pickups as in a health refill? No, that's okay. I thought you meant an HP upgrade. Excuse me. You can take health as you want, just don't increase your maximum life pool. Meanwhile, berlindude, attempting to skip turtles. It's not so easy as it looks. People are sometimes really good at turtle skip and make it look free, but it's easy to have a little bit of your movement going off and then you don't get it. And Shadow, meanwhile, passing up on the first section in the stage. Berlin kind of looked like he wanted to fire a bunch of shots there to the music, but clearly this man has no sense of rhythm. But at least he tried, which is more important. And he will now be initiating the outside climb. The climbing in the stage is really difficult, it's very technical, it's very hard on your hands. If you practice this for extended time, you're going to be in pain, for sure. So getting through this is always fairly difficult, and everyone's always happy making it through it alive. And without many mishaps, we see Berlin going inside the tower, but all of the turrets firing at him are not very kind. Does get a little health refill there. And ShadowZero is attempting to do this with a Buster Climb, which is actually slightly harder than using the ice strats, where you can easily kill every enemy in a one shot. So, Berlin on Coanger may attempt to initiate the dance here. Oh! No. He's not going to get to dance with Coanger today, at least not anymore. But I forgive him, it's quite late where he is. And meanwhile, we see ShadowZero catching up. Berlin dies! So here we go, ShadowZero with a chance to catch up right now. Both will be synced getting into this fight once again. Berlin charging up his fight before he goes in. Charging up his Buster before he goes in. And now it's almost a sync. Let's go. Berlin again, does not get the dance, meaning he will have to deal with the annoying Coanger patterns again that you get if you do not initiate the dance pattern. And ShadowZero as well, climbing around the entire room, attempting to dodge Coanger, takes a hit there, really close to dying, as berlindude on the second attempt takes down the Wanger for free. ShadowZero dies! Oh, the man had a chance to catch up, but he ruined it. For now. I'm sure he's gonna get more chances to catch up to Berlin. There's a long way to go. The end game of this category is super deadly, so don't worry. There is lots more deathing coming, and a lot of excitement to be had. I mean, we see ShadowZero as well. Again, not having a little dance off with Coanger, meaning he needs to do a lot of jumping and shooting. I mean, it's Mega Man's profession, but no. Still, it's easier if you can just stand still and not have to include the dashes. And berlindude, meanwhile, going on to Chameleon, decides that he wants some safety items on this race. And will be going to pick up the armor from RT55J. In this fight, you just want to really throw a bunch of boomerangs at him. I believe the correct mark is 18, at which point you swap over to Buster, get a bunch of dash slams in, as we see there. Preferably you shoot in the right direction, Berlin, and then capsule pops out of the ground, offering you the body armor. Doesn't get the toe capsule. Run is not confirmed right now. and this body armor will introduce you with a 50% damage reduction. Great. Also, meanwhile, I see in the chat a subscription from Soldier Hawk. Thank you very much. I am not really part of the speed gaming crew, but I am sure they don't mind if I thank you in their place. ShadowZero as well wants to have a safety item. Goes up to RD55J and will be initiating a fight for the body armor. And berlindude picks up a little one up there that's laying around to make up for his death in co-anchor. And here we have a little freestyling going on, as there is not really a true correct way of getting to the swamp, so you just wing it every time. Abuba, I understand some more death incoming. That's indeed not nice to the runners, but this is a really dangerous category, and I do always feel like it spices things up a little to have a couple deaths here and there. Keeps things very exciting. Yes, Mana Watts, 50% CDR, sorry, I'm a nerd, okay. Meanwhile, Chameleon going down for berlindude. He's about half a stage ahead right now of ShadowZero, who has just finished up on getting his body armor and needs to go to the cave now. Note that in this cave, usually you have rocks falling down. However, when you kill RT55J on the top, there will be no rocks falling down, because he's the guy like stomping down the rocks from the ceiling. So as soon as he's killed, nothing happens there anymore. ShadowZero apparently having a little hit and miss there, hide and seeking with the oh max strats. Oh no, apparently he doesn't like doing max strats, and he will be going into Chameleon in a second as Berlin goes into the Eagle stage, and will be climbing up to another safety item, picking up a sub tank for himself. He can fill this up throughout the game as he's playing, and it should provide him some extra safety by the time he gets to Sigma, just in case he takes a couple hits in the late game, so he can pick up. Yeah, we do get to see a lot of what Storm Eagle has to say here. Storm Eagle is a known boss to ruin runs, but in a race setting he's not technically that dangerous. And any percent he also doesn't cost you that much time with dives, so... Oh, ShadowZero forgot to press a button there. If you just keep a button pressed, you skip the weapon upgrade view and most of the password. We got a little glimpse of it there. And berlindude actually getting a really nice pattern. I do not believe that I picked up on any dives right there. Diveless going in clean. And as he ports out of Eagle, we see ShadowZero porting in. The gap seems to be increasing quite quickly. For now, there's still a lot of... Oh my. No, there's something I did not expect to see. ShadowZero picks up the hard tank in the Eagle stage, which is really far away out of his way. He must be... Oh, I am actually considering right now if he is going to be pulling 100%. Which is, I mean, completely allowed in Hundo. 100% is technically any percent, so that would be completely okay if he did so. We will see. If he picks up the helmet, which is pretty much a useless upgrade in general, that would mean he will be playing Hundo, very likely. So let's see here if he does that. No. Okay, he's gonna skip the helmet. He just wants, well, all the safety he can get, even if it's a little bit far out of the way. And meanwhile, we see berlindude heading into the Mammoth stage. To the Mammoth fight. So we'll have about, well, a Maverick setting between the two of them after this. Fun fact, you can cut Mammoth's trunk, but Well, mostly you don't see runners do that. It lowers his attack patterns to, I believe, only a single different attack, but it's not all that useful since his attacks do not really bother you too much to begin with. Also, everyone, yeah, you're right. The music in this game is absolutely great. There are also some really nice remixes out there in the world on YouTube, but you can always look those up. Definitely recommend those. But do that after a race, because right now this is important. Berlindude and ShadowZero hacking and slashing and shooting away at each other, attempting to be the first to get the Sigma and finish that meanie off in the middle of the fortress to save the day for everlasting peace. So, ShadowZero onto the Mammoth stage, Berlin into Eagle, playing in the dark. Actually a really fun thing to do if you are a runner. And ShadowZero, well, going top route in Mammoth. That's pretty cool to see. And he will now be passing on his way, grabs his boomerang, so he will probably take the heart here as well. Oh, but he does take the long road around. Berlindude, meanwhile, crashing in on Thunder Slimer. Thunder Slimer being quite annoying boss. He seemed to be sticking to the wall most of the time, which is not really what you want. You prefer him to come down so you can mash shots into him. Shadows PB, I'm not entirely sure. I'm trying to pick up on chat when I can, by the way, but I'm trying to watch the runners mostly. Shadows PB, I believe, is a 44 something, but I'm not exactly sure. And yeah, Smart Manual's team, one of the cooler songs in this fight. Oh, ShadowZero with the trunk cut. Nice. This is something you won't see a lot. Mammoth looking a lot like a pig now. Does not really end up doing much anymore except shooting fire. That's really cool that he shows that off for you guys. Should put your hands together and give this man some applause for showing off these neat little things. Berlindude, meanwhile, took out the Mandrill himself. The Mike Tyson of X1. Oh, ShadowZero again likes to show off which weapons he gets, so I mean, it's always nice to double check if they did give you the correct item, I would say. Yeah, plenty. We might be seeing more tentacles cut off. If you see Mammoth's trunk going down, you may as well take the Octo arms as well. Berlin into the Dillo stage. Actually, a fairly simple stage to go through. It's mostly you hold right and dash and shoot through it. It's really not much special going on in there. And then you get a couple of really cool cart rides. ShadowZero, again, going pretty far out of his way to pick up another extra safety item. He does really seem to be not on, well, the most confident level. But that's okay. I mean, he has to play the way he wants to play and how he sees it fit for himself. And if he needs these, then he needs them. It's all fine. It does cost him quite a bit of time, though, having to pick up even the ones that go that far out of his way, but gotta do what you gotta do. Berlindude, meanwhile, despawning the birds. These jumps you see on the platform, on the cart, are not there for no reason. They actually despawn the birds, of which you still saw one at the end. And ShadowZero having a lot of wall jumping fun with Thunder Slimer. Getting stuck a little bit. Berlindude looking for a good RNG. Gets the God Dillo. Instantly stops rolling. We shoot off the armor. Otherwise this fight is very long and annoying. Terrible. But as you can see, once he loses armor, Armadillo really means nothing anymore. Sad. Such a good boss. Ruined as soon as you drop the armor. Oh. ShadowZero picking up more safety, getting an extra heart. That one is actually not really out of his way, easy to pick up. Just needs to get past a couple turtles and another dark hallway, and he'll be well on his way to his next Maverick. Meanwhile, berlindude did do Mammoth early, so he will be on his final Maverick for this run. Lord Big Nick, no, any percent means that they can pick up any items they want. They can pick up no items, they can pick up all items, they can do whatever they want. So, we see ShadowZero here, going off against Mandrill. Pretty easy fight. When you take him with the ice, you can freeze him up, stun lock him forever. Not much can go wrong there. However, he does still like to punch you in the face a couple times. berlindude, meanwhile, making his way through the Octo stage, doing the 100% strat with Spark on the second sub. Now passing on to the Utoboros, who you will sadly not see a lot of. For people who are not used to seeing it, there is a really giant snake down there. You will see about, well, that much of it. Perhaps ShadowZero will let you see a little bit more. Maybe. Probably not. And ShadowZero moving on to Armadillo now. As berlindude goes and takes on a new challenger. Octopus, easily one of the harder boss fights in X1 Any Percent. Has a few annoying patterns, and mostly it's just that he can use a lot of projectiles all through each other and really fill up the screen with a lot of different missiles. And if you go low percent in this game, that's actually really terrible, because it becomes difficult to dodge all of it, and at some point you kind of are forced to take damage in this fight. It's, well, not impossible to go through its damages, but definitely not easy. So, with that, we do see berlindude finish up his 8 maps, and he'll be heading into the Sigma Fortress shortly. ShadowZero is about a stage and a half behind on him, but I do see someone say, "Oh, bro, it's a complete stage ahead. I think it's dead." Well, I maybe be so free. Any percent is extremely dangerous, and anything can happen in this category. The final 2 stages are extremely deadly. Now, Berlin did take a decent amount of safety items, so he is fairly safe, but he is still not free from accidents. Let's put it that way. And we do see him here tanking down on HP, as we do have another Vile fight coming up, including the Vile skip. ShadowZero, meanwhile, look, you see berlindude here, will pass, he plays the ground is on fire, or however you call it in English. He doesn't touch the ground, floor is lava, I believe. So you can cut a little scene out with Zero and Vile. So then you get a double text box here, if executed correctly. You need to keep start pressed here, very important. If you're a runner, if you do not keep start pressed here, you can actually soft lock the game. However, it is not the end of the race for you if you soft lock here. You can always reset your console and then enter the password, and you will be back at the start of the stage. You will not have the cutscene again, but you will have to fight Vile still. But you know, it's not a good way to skip it, the cutscene, because I mean, you still have to do a half stage over again. But now, meanwhile, Vile exploding, we see berlindude make some quick work out of Vile. It's worth noting that Vile is really fast in terms of movement. He has almost no iframes, so you can really whale damage and fire him down really quickly. But if he does body slam you, he hits like a truck. So, oh, a little bong there from berlindude, and ShadowZero taking a top route through the middle of the Octo stage. Wanted to go sightseeing on the boat, however, now is not the time for boat trips. I do not believe Zero has actually killed himself. Oh, and there we see the Autoboros on the screen. Boat runners did have a death to Kowanger in the initial stages, but other than that, there has not really been any serious mishaps. There is a certain difference in skill between the two runners, but I mean, definitely everything can still happen. ShadowZero is playing a bit of catch-up right now, but I mean, everything can happen. Oh, and there we see ShadowZero cutting the arms off of Octopus, meaning he only has his missiles anymore to really go and attack him, meaning there's a really easy and predictable time right now for him to fight. And Bow Spider coming off for Berlin. Fairly heavy RNG boss. She follows all of the patterns that you see in the background, which, well, it can be quite terrible. You can have like no crossovers, you can have 2, you can have 7. It's very heavily dependent. Just important that you read the patterns quickly and react to them. Iris shoot missiles 2x2. The reason that people do that is to make sure that you get him through the iframes. If you have enough ammo on your shots, then you're gonna fire 2 shots, because in case you were a little bit too early on the first one, at least the second one is actually going to hit the boss. So it's basically an insurance for yourself that you're gonna get a hit in. If you have the ammo, it's a really good thing to do. Excuse me if I miss any questions, but I will try to get it. No, ShadowZero! ShadowZero, they're taking a little dive into the pit. I mean, taking the sightseeing tour. I mean, the starter stage is pretty nice, so I don't mind seeing it twice. You know, the sunset in the background. I don't blame the man. And berlindude going into the stage of Birds Are Jerks. As we know, both of the birds are in Sigma 2. But heavy RNG bosses, we are looking for as little as possible slides and dives. Oh, and snow actually in the refight. That's something you don't see very often. And another slide for Berlin, who is almost out of ammo for his Fire Wave. Fire Wave! Spam it in the chat when you see it, guys. I mean, it's a really hype item, weapon. And ShadowZero will be moving on to his file skip. Passing by the cutscene nicely. Now just looking to go and cut out all of the rest of the scene. And meanwhile, berlindude is on his way to Jerk number 2, who will potentially try to dive a lot. ShadowZero getting caged by Vile. Zero jumping out of his cage and exploding. And, well, goodbye, Eagle. It was nice to know you. And no, the iframe safety is there on double shots. You will see that on a couple bosses, not on a lot of them. But, oh, the Berlin missing a couple shots here. That's something you don't see a lot. And that was a very odd Eagle placement right there at the end. Meanwhile, we see another Vile fight. Vile fights are actually really cool to watch in this category. It's fast and they're not so easy to execute. ShadowZero making pretty good work of Vile there. Good job. Kaboom! Finally rid of this annoying guy. And a stupid battle suit. Thanks a lot, Zero. You know, it's kind of funny to think that we have ShadowZero and then dying, so it's like the evil self can go on because of his good self or something like that. Meanwhile, berlindude taking on Rangda. Having to kill the nose early is kind of annoying, because it gets really awkward and you need to fight in the middle with the walls closed and you can't really see the eyes very well. But he makes good work of it. And ShadowZero moving on to Kowanger. And we do see ShadowZero taking a bit of a safe route here. Doesn't want to have to do much with Quanger on the ground, because facing him on the ground makes the fight a bit more dangerous for yourself. And Berlin attempting to do the Dillo skip in a safe manner, where he takes a little damage boost to get into the right position. It's a very safe way, but it does mean that you will be taking a hit, meaning that you could be picking up on drops anytime soon. And while Chameleon is spawning, we see ShadowZero moving on to Bow Spider, but he looks like he wants some extra health, but instead gets an ammo drop. The game did not quite understand his wishes there, or comply. Sealy is, thank you for the $25 sub. Wow, I would like to have your job, my man. Or maybe I should just be less of a cheapskate. Berlin moving past and going to Medal. Oh, ShadowZero, please watch out. No! ShadowZero getting distracted by all the babies getting thrown at him and bonks into the mama spider into his dead. Berlin, meanwhile, having a little punch out with Mammoth. However, not really responding with his own punches, rather with a whole bunch of ice shot. And we see ShadowZero having a second attempt at the spider. Does not actually go and fire charge sleds, ice sleds. So he will be taking a slightly longer time to deal with this. He's actually doing a lot of weapon swaps. That is a little bit odd and making it difficult for himself, but I mean, whatever floats his boat, I suppose. Octo, meanwhile, giving a swirly there for Berlin, who actually seems to have his strat ready for that. Anytime that he sees a swirly, he does load up charge rolling shield. Make sure he gets a little bit of extra damage on that hit. However, if you don't get enough swirlies, that doesn't necessarily help you out too much. Because I think you need at least 2 or 3 for that to be efficient, and I do believe it's at least 2. Meanwhile, Bow Spider going down on ShadowZero's side. And that's a really good chop on that guy. Man, but up for Berlin, the final, well, almost final boss for this Stadium Sigma tree. It is actually the last refight. Yeah, as Walrus points out there, it's 2 charge hits take down one of the hits you have to do. So they, if I'm not mistaken, it's 6 damage instead of 3. So there are a couple bosses exception to this, but sadly I am not one of the human wikis, so I won't be able to inform you of that. But perhaps Walrus could point it out for you guys in the chat. Berlin having a little fight off with D-Rex here, getting pretty decent RNG. Not the most aggressive D-Rex pattern, meaning that he gets through that really, really nicely. Right, and with that, Berlin will... Oof, ShadowZero, watch out for those spikes. Jeez. They'll play with the people's heart. And as you can see, because that one mech followed him over, the final mech here was actually not present. There are certain things in this game that will like spawn and despawn under certain conditions. It's nothing really special if you haven't seen that before, but I mean, sometimes you might just see something and be like, hey, wasn't there supposed to be something right over there? I might just trip now. I mean, you probably are, because I mean, you can really get high on this game. It's like a drug. Berlin having a good fight with the dog here. The ideal way of fighting the dog is getting him close to a wall so you can have the ricochet shots bounce off screen really quickly so you can fire again. However, if you want to be safe, you can just stay on the ground level and try to take the dog there. If you get him jumping up on the wall, it becomes fairly difficult to really deal with him properly. Jedi Sigma, well, always tries to match where you are in the air. kind of a silly boss fight when you think about it. Berlin will take a little long there, but they'll probably have no issues. And ShadowZero, meanwhile, is good RNG on Rangda, but unfortunately he starts out with a double green eye. Even though green eyes are nice to look at, they're not something you would like to have in this game. Alright, so ShadowZero almost done there, but meanwhile, Berlin is on the final Sigma. Is this gonna... Ooh, claw? Lightnings? Is he gonna get killed? Maybe? Yes? No? Sometimes? Ooh. Seems to be dodging out of everything really nicely. ShadowZero, meanwhile, did finish off Rangda. Come on, Sigma, do it! Oh, fine. The race is sadly over for berlindude. No, for ShadowZero. berlindude does take the victory here, but we can all cheer on for the ShadowZero, who still has to finish this run. And he was now looking to do the Dillo skip. Takes his time killing the enemies, so he can set up freely. GG to Berlin. Who can now watch the entire platform explode. ShadowZero picking up some extra health in between there. Wants to fill up on the sub tanks. And now I would say everyone, let's go and cheer on for ShadowZero to go and get to the end of this game. This game's really hard in any percent, so let's give him all the support he can get, because I do believe that he has quite a lot of time to save compared to his PB. So I do well believe if he does not die in the rest of this run, that he will get a massive PB for himself. So let's go. Oh, he chooses to refill his boomerangs here and take the health. Really wants to have all of the safeties going in. Iris, I believe, was the final time for Berlin, 35:45. That is actually a very decent time. The world record for any percent is a 31:13 on low percent, obviously, but getting to that kind of time is really difficult. And I mean, anyone getting through this game with any safeties, but just doing any percent is always something you should cheer for, because it's difficult. It's really difficult. You will see, if you're a bit more close with our community, you will see a lot of 100% runners who will at some point transfer over, attempt to do any percent, and then if they try to do low percent, it's insane. It's silly. There's a lot of Hundo runners who don't even touch any percent, simply because if you want to try to do at low percent, it's really difficult and dangerous. And a lot of people get frustrated with it. So, Octa going down for ShadowZero. I believe that was no sword, so that's good RNG going on there. And wow, look at that fire wave strat. Under the water, didn't really do anything, but hey, I bet that wall felt it. And ShadowZero looks like he wants to reduce some lag there and at the final hallway before Mammoth. However, this is a very laggy hallway to begin with. But I do have to say that anything you do there will simply add lag very quickly. So it would have been better if he shot nothing at all. And low percent is basically percent. Yes, indeed, that is quite correct. So it's basically anything that you can't avoid taking. I'm good at language. That you can't avoid taking, you will be taking. But anything that you can avoid, you will avoid. Also, Icky said, please don't be a memer. ShadowZero here fighting D-Rex. D-Rex is going at things fairly slow right now, but once he gets below the 50% point, his speed can pick up remarkably. We do see here, getting a little lucky there. He did get bonked off the wall, but T-Rex stopped really to chomp as his excess hitbox is on the floor. Spreads out a little bit when you're down there. So that looks like he is well on his way still for a potential PB, if I'm not mistaken. I do believe he has a 44 X, so I really don't know the exact time. Checking up on the safeties there, sees that his second sub tank is not completely full, but it should be enough to fill him up if he gets a couple hits. So, now we have the final 3 bosses, starting with Valgarder, Sigma's dog. Poor dog. This dog has a couple of different attacks. He can shoot sparks at you, he can shoot fire waves at you, in different ways than you use them, or he can just climb the walls, much like his master. Overall, if you are a bit careful, he's not too dangerous, but it can be quite tricky. And then here's Sigma, as I said earlier, matches your elevation. Fairly easy to deal with. ShadowZero taking a little bit more of a risky approach on this. Most runners will shoot their sparks on the wall, on the left, while Sigma is touching it. So the split shot will hit him there, but ShadowZero chooses to do it a little bit different. But that's right, that's right. Gets through it fairly quickly, and he now just needs to finish Wolf Sigma, and he will be done. And he looks to still be having a good time on his hands here. As far as my Star Wars knowledge goes, yes, you're pretty freaking evil. Don't you see how many things you kill in this game? I mean... Oh, that claw getting into ShadowZero's way. And a wall of claws. No, watch out for that lightning. Okay, okay, he's fine. He's fine. He is still fine. That's a lot of lightning under that left claw. Oh, that's not lightning. No, don't move. No. Oh, yes, okay. Whew. He made it. He made it. That was at 42-18, as I could see. Oh, whew. So I do believe this could be a PB for ShadowZero. I see that he has a race PB improvement from 53-15 to 42-21, and I would actually have to go to a stream to see, but I think that will be a PB for him, if I heard Berlin correctly earlier on his time. I hope I'm not misleading everyone. However, that does conclude our first race, but please, everyone, do stay put in your seats. Refresh your popcorn, refresh your drinks, refresh your whatever you're eating, drinking, go to the bathroom, but do come back, because we are not done. This is a set best of 3. This is, well, potentially 1 more race, 2 more races, who knows, like... Oh, look, there, ShadowZero in the chat with the 3-minute PB. Congratulations, my dude. Let's shave off another 3 minutes and you're well on your way to world record. Just 2 more runs and you're there. No, wait. More like 3. I can't count, but that's okay. Someone else can do it for me, and if not, I have a cell phone. So I see Cyclone in the chat there. There is also a couple other things going on speed gaming. If you were not as interested in MMX as you were in Zelda 1, or perhaps anything else. Oh, I hear a ploin.
Heyo.
Oh, it's a walrus.
How's it going, Drago? Sorry I'm late. I heard you were working so hard in here. I thought you might need some help, so I'm here to...
I was actually enjoying myself.
Yeah,
thanks a lot, walrus. Yeah, it's always welcome to have someone extra, because it was a little bit difficult trying to follow 2 runners and the chat, because every time I look at chat, I would probably miss something to the runners. So will be a little bit easier to track everyone. So everyone, if you did not know yet, it would really surprise me, but whoever popped into this channel right now on Discord with me is Walrus_Prime, current world record holder in 100%. You might not always be able to tell when he goes to GDQ, but he's really top tier runner. He's been going hard on any percent. He's also probably quite a human wiki now, together with his town buddy NRG So
you're too kind. You're too kind. But this isn't about me. This is about ShadowZero and Berlin Dude. Berlin Dude, race number 3 today, right? I was able to catch a couple of them earlier.
Yeah, it's his 3rd race for the day. It's he's keeping up pretty well because these races can get quite exhausting if you really put your mind to it. So.
Yeah. 6. What do you? I think both of the other races were 2 runs. No match 3 in those. So that's already 5 races he's done today. That's still quite a lot.
A lot of races in one day.
Hats off to Berlin Dude for pulling that off. I believe he went 1-1 in his matches earlier. So if he wins this, he's got really good shot at going into the bracket, right?
Yeah, he won his race against ShadowZero, and he lost the 2-0 against 2Stop earlier. Got a little swagged on in the following race there by 2Stop, but
yeah, 2Stop's really fast, really fast. So,
but Berlin Dude actually had some impressive times for himself there, and actually in his final race earlier, he decided to first take the safety armor as he did here in his first run, but on the second run against 2Stop, he decided to drop his safety armor, and he still managed to get through the game deathless. So I hope to see more of that actually, where he really mans up and says, "Guys, I can do this. I don't need these safeties. Get the hell out of here."
Yeah, and that'd be a really big time save for him, right? Because the armor, as much safety as it provides, it costs quite a bit of time to get. You got to do the whole fight with the green biker dad, as well as the capsule and the rock falling animations and stuff. So it's a pretty substantial time loss. So knocking that out of your run is going to make room for a pretty big PB.
Yeah, although I do believe that this gold splits on Chameleon will be without an armor already, because he's clearly done that before. So I don't think his sum of best will miraculously improve by an entire 30-40 seconds straight away, but definitely something we can look forward to. And just to get everyone an update, the second race will be going off soon, but our runners are taking a mini break. ShadowZero needs to get a little bit of water for himself, get hydrated to make sure he's ready for race number 2.
Now, has ShadowZero done any of his races, or is this his first one in his group? I'm not sure.
I know that 2Stop is the only race that he's done so far. It was again to Berlin, and Berlin will clearly be done this, but I'm not entirely sure if JFM and ShadowZero have raced yet. Sadly, a lot of the runs races happen while I am at work or sleeping. So, and I do see that ShadowZero has returned with some water, so we will probably be set to go soon. I hope everyone else refilled their water and popcorn as well.
Yeah, so it looks like this is ShadowZero's first race in his group. Just confirming.
Yeah, I've not been able to keep track of all the groups, but for anyone that wants to keep track of the tournament by themselves, I do believe there is a command for this. Yeah, right there. It has the MMX Any Tournament brackets right there if you want to follow up on all of your favorite runners, whether it's berlindude or ShadowZero or 2Stop or Walrus or... No, don't look at me. I don't matter. Or anyone else. I mean, you go right there and see how we're doing.
You're my favorite runner, Drago.
No, only when I talk crap. Oh, crap. Speaking of crap, I might not want to have Discord over my commentary stream. And I do believe we're set to go as both runners get to the game start screen.
And here we go.
Yeah. Everyone, get back to your Air guitars!
Oh man. So the intro again. Everybody knows by now, I would hope. It's just a whole bunch of mashing and holding right here. That's the goal. Not let go of right. Ideally, you never have to let go, but if your mashing is not quite up to par, you'll crash into these blue guys. You see ShadowZero slow down just a bit to make sure he doesn't crash. Because your health is pretty important in this stage, depending on the beat patterns. Both of them get the machine gun beat right away. So that's nice. That pretty much puts them in the clear for the rest of the stage. The only worry is double passive fees.
Yeah, that's the only thing that can really be a worry for you. That and, well, perhaps some issues with pits, if you will.
Yeah, or if you run into the bees 3 times, like Zero just did here. So he's down to 2 health, which is totally fine, right? You want to be at 3 or less health by the time you reach the end of the stage. Ideally, leaving the bees, you come out with 4 to 6 health, so that you can do some fancy stuff with the cars later on, which we might see from Berlin. But ShadowZero will not have to worry about the task car setup and can just progress immediately to the Vile fight.
Oh, he actually gets a lot of health drops, and
oh, and he gets totally topped off. Oh man, that's brutal. But you see on Berlin's side, he's going for the task car strat. Kind of goofs it up a little bit there. Like, he just got some bad luck, I think. Ended up behind the first car. But he's able to get down to 3 health without losing any time there. And ShadowZero is gonna, oh man, yeah. These cars, when you're trying to take a bunch of damage off of them, you actually have to hop back on them to restart their self-destruct timer, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, I wanted to point that out. There is actually some kind of a self-destruct timer on them, and now trying to tank the damage off of them, he is likely going to get a 3rd car, since there is a timer set on it. But alright, it doesn't look too bad, so we're alright here.
Didn't die, so we're in there. He's down where he needs to be. The reason you need to be at 3 or less health is because this fight is unwinnable, right? And you need Vile to shoot those trapping shots right away, and that's his trigger, is your health being at 3 or less. So
yeah, that's right. No, there is actually a self-destruct timer on the cars. Meanwhile, Sakura, thank you for resubbing to Speed Gaming. Isn't Sakura one of the admins? Whatever. Back to the race. So yeah, we're going back to the Penguin stage. Outside here, we're having a little bonk with the flyer guy and playing with the bunnies in the snow. A place where snow is very nice. You know, there's a lot of games where there are physical hindrance, where you see like ice and snow stages. However, in Mega Man X1, there's nothing like that. There's a lot of snow here, but it's not slippery or anything. Your movement here is the same as anywhere else.
Yeah, no ice physics in this game, fortunately. The only thing is that like the snow kind of covers X's feet while you're walking, but so it makes it a little more difficult to time your dashes and stuff when you're landing, just because you can't see exactly where the ground is. But with some practice, it becomes pretty natural.
Yep.
No dash boots. Now we're off to the races. This is where the run really picks up, right? The movement is unlocked and we can start to go fast. And hopefully the only instance of the mech we see. I mean, mech strats are hype, but they're also slow, except for in this one instance.
Yeah, and you don't even ride it for very long. Just the mech is your tool to get up on the top route. It's your only way to get up there. There have been many researches or for a way to get up here without using the mech, or a way to get the heart without a revisit though, but so far no one's managed to break the game down that far yet. And now on to jerk number 1. We have once more Penguin sliding around. Although I have not seen any extremely bad RNGs on these.
Oh, Berlin's getting a really good pattern here. I think I've seen one slide, if any, so far.
I saw a slide, yeah. But I think he only got one slide, this Penguin.
Yeah, very friendly bird. strange. Always confused when they do that.
ShadowZero having a little bit of a bad penguin position there. Oh,
yeah, he's gonna have to be careful here. He's getting pretty low on health. The penguin fight, as early in the run as it is, it's still probably the single hardest fight to do fast in the run, just because it's so sort of unpredictable. You can kind of do whatever he wants, whenever he wants for the most part, and then here you see ShadowZero trying to thread the needle, gets a nice clean jump between Penguin and
shut up. Berlin Dude just went to Eagle second.
Is he doing 100%?
I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
He's turned. Oh, he's going left. He's going for the heart.
Wait. Yeah. Is Berlin going to do 100%? Okay, that would be something. That would be something.
Do you think this was intentional? Well, I guess grabbing the heart makes it seem intentional, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I may also have to confess that I was in his chat earlier, and I was like, just do 100% if you think you can still beat him with that. He said, like, I could do that, and I said, do it! But I didn't think he would do it, because Berlin Dude is not the kind of guy to BM people. And he said, yeah, it's kind of BM. But, yeah, I don't know. Let's see if he grabs the helmet.
Well, he's already grabbed the heart and the sub tank, and he's got the ice out. Yeah, he's going in for the helmet.
Berlin is going.
Looks like we're going to see 100% versus any percent here.
Well, all right then.
Should be interesting. I mean, I guess my expertise can shine through here on Berlin Dude commentary. You know, maybe it's 6 races in a day. Kind of might break a man.
Well, I guess he might be swapping it out for himself a bit. I mean, he's done a lot of playing so far. Personally, I would not like to be in his place doing that many races, and it would be very tiring. I did 4 just the other day, and that was more than enough.
Okay, so now we get to see the Buster Eagle fight. It's a very safe fight. There's not a lot of danger here. The big risk is that Eagle just dives a bunch and you lose a bunch of time, because each dive loses about a second. He's off screen and you can't hit him. And since the fight lasts much longer with Buster, he's got more chances. And there he goes. He's off to the dive. And he just does one. He's going to come back down and hover and right back up.
Wow.
Just to troll
Eagle
Berlin.
being a mean bird. This one. Yeah, actually, and in 100%, this is more painful to see these dives coming in. They cost you more time than in any percent.
Yeah, simply just because he can do more of them. The fight ends much quicker in any percent with C-Sting, so optimally he's limited to 7 dives maximum. Whereas in 100%, you can get 9 in a row, and it'll come back down, and then it'll go up and do more. And I mean, I've seen, I don't know, 12, 14 in one fight, so...
Yeah, it can be
that was rough. Not a great pattern for Berlin. On the other side, though, we got ShadowZero here, pretty low health. Oops, got another boomerang, and he's down. Ouch.
Well, same thing as in race 1. They both died to cool anger, so ShadowZero getting a little repeat of that here. Also, for the chat, Ibuba, he does actually have the time to get the Hadouken and win the race. Hondo and any percent, or low percent, as you will, are not that extremely far out of each other in terms
of
time.
About 4 minutes between
4 minutes, yeah. So with the times that we saw in the first race, ShadowZero getting a 41, I believe. Berlin Dude's PB and 100% should be enough to go and clear the entire game. In case ShadowZero gets another 41.
Good clean fight from ShadowZero. Second try. Berlin going up to get the sub-tank here. Uses that ice sled to make that corner, which makes getting the sub-tank a lot faster. Otherwise, you'd have to go all the way up and around and come back. You go underneath. Well, he doesn't have boomerang. He doesn't do iceless. So he's got to go underneath to get that.
Yeah, he will be doing... the iceful route, and then we'll have to see what he does, if he does waterful or waterless at the end of it.
Yeah, so for 100%, there's sort of 2 main routes, and then each of those can branch off into 2 main sort of side routes, I guess, or second halves. 2 main routes for the first half, 2 main routes for the second half.
Yeah, that's pretty much how we go.
and ice full for the first half.
ShadowZero having a little bit of problems with his jump there, but he's gonna go back to pick up his safety armor.
Yeah, so we'll definitely be seeing this fight from both runners, just much later from Berlin, if he does what I think he does, which will be Waterful, which would be Chameleon last.
Yeah. I do believe that will be the route he takes. Also, something to mention that the late game of any percent in this game is really brutal. I know I keep repeating that, but it's, well, just like that. And I also pointed out earlier that if you play any percent, if you play 100%, the late game in this becomes so extremely safe that it would be really hard to really die. So
yeah, the thing is, ShadowZero is going to have to go into the fortress way ahead, because Berlin is going to have the Hadouken and he's going to be making up ground fast during the fortress. Yeah, and he's got very little chance to die because he'll have a lot of health, 4 sub-tanks, and all the upgrades. So
yeah, and because you have to go through the entire Dillo stage like a whole bunch of times, you can fill up your sub-tanks really easily there from the minor drops and whatnot. And you pick up so much HP and sub-tanks. So. Yeah, he will be doing 100%, do not worry, chat. He will be getting...
max strats! He gets some max strats from ShadowZero, very nice. He immediately bails, I probably would have wrote it out. Or not, you're already in it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean... He did this in the first race too, where he got into that exact same mech and they jumped out and I got excited, but... Yeah. Berlin having us climb up the Kuwanger and using his pink shots there instead of using ice shots. Oh.
A little bit of trouble for ShadowZero in the Chameleon fight, but he's got him in the stun lock now and should make short work of him. Here we see why Berlin does Eagle second and then Mammoth, so that you can get the arm upgrade so you can use the sled to reach this heart. That heart is reachable without the ice sled, thus the iceless route would do Kuwanger second, but this is sort of the easier beginner 100% route, which just uses an ice sled to get out there very easily.
Yes. For anyone interested in running this game, if you play Kondo, please do not start on the iceless route. It kills me a little bit on the inside. I am very happy to welcome new runners, but if that's what the first thing I see on your stream is like 20 minutes of trying to get iceless and you don't even know the game yet, that's a deep sigh.
Berlin gets a pretty good dance out of Kuwanger. He starts teleporting fairly early and then gives him the all the way across the room teleports, which actually take longer. The thing about Kuwanger, his teleports are oh, does ShadowZero get it? Oh, I thought he had it.
Yeah, that was really close, actually. I think it was only slightly off, to be honest. Trying to get a phantom grab on the platform there. Yeah, seems to be jumping like a madman. It looks kind of funny as he jumps on that elevator platform. Yeah, I still think it's a little bit odd how he uses this specific card as a safety, since it's so far out.
Yeah, but if he gets the carpet out of it, maybe.
Yeah, that is true. It does.
Or loses less time than some other hearts, but yeah, it's pretty far out of the way if you don't get the fly afterwards.
Yeah. And yeah, Manawatch, that is the old carpet setup, so definitely not one you see a lot anymore. And Berlin taking up all of his items for his 100%. I'm still so surprised to actually see him do that. Really not the kind of guy to go and style on people or BM anything, but I would not be surprised if he actually asked ShadowZero if he would mind to do that.
So here we see that 100% Thunder Slimer fight. Much easier than the any percent Thunder Slimer fight. One charge tornado, one regular tornado, and another charge tornado, and down he goes. Very simple.
Yeah, and 100% this fight is pretty much a no-brainer, but well, almost impossible to mess that up unless you want to be really tight on releasing your second charge and release it too early or something. But I mean, that's almost impossible.
Looked like just one dive for ShadowZero, so big time save over Berlin's Eagle fight there. Not only did he get much fewer dives, but also had the sea snake to dish out much more damage more quickly. So,
hey Walrus, congrats! You're officially a commentator now.
Yay!
So that on the side topic. Well, I mean, it depends how you look at it, Shiroi. Because I mean, as we did say, handicap itself is only half of a term in this case, because he does take a really long time to get to the Sigma Fortress, much longer than he would in any percent. But at the same time, the entire fortress becomes a whole lot easier and faster to execute with the Hadoken.
Yeah, a little boomerang, funny business from ShadowZero there. He tried to save time by grabbing the heart with the boomerang, but got trolled by that miner, stopping his boomerang short.
Yeah, I think it would have been maybe easier if he just went on the top straight away and then tried to grab it downwards.
Yeah, it's not a terribly easy boomerang throw though, so I don't blame him for going down below.
Yeah, but at that point it's maybe easier to just pick it up straight away. Yeah. See berlindude doing some no attempts at never mind. That phantom grab over there with sub tank. Was hoping he'd have a little go at least.
Man wants that I don't know if that would have despawned had he left the screen, or if it would have been in the same location. Or maybe it respawned where it's supposed to be.
If I'm not mistaken, it respawns on its original location. If
that
you
would
go
make
off
the most
screen
sense to me.
And it's not on the place where it's supposed to be, and you go back, then it will simply be back on the spot. Yeah. And I mean, you can't really grab it like that straight away, because that miner is always going to be on top of you. So, personally, I do think he should have either just grabbed it or gone on top of the boomerangs, because I mean, you know that your heart is always going to crash into the miner.
Okay, so here's the Dillo fight in 100%. We gotta open the fight. Oh, he doesn't quite have the full charge. He might get it in time to get the hit. Nope, didn't hit him.
Yeah.
But he opens right away, so no big time loss for Berlin.
Yeah.
The big difference in the Dillo fight is that unlike other Mavericks, the charged version of his weakness does double damage. It does 6 damage, whereas all the other Mavericks, the charged version of their weakness does 4 damage. So it's actually pretty critical to get that first charge off, and then you can get another full charge when he's losing his armor, because his invincibility is sort of extended.
Oh, ShadowZero gets no bubbles. Tokyo would be proud. He never gets bubbles.
Oh man, with the menu swap to get that tornado off screen, you can't swap while a weapon is out, like on screen. So he fired that tornado. It wasn't doing any damage, so he decided to menu swap instead. Not a terrible plan. Thinking on his feet, ShadowZero is.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to see people having a little thought while they're playing and not just mindlessly bashing. Oh my god, this pattern for Thunder Slider.
Yeah, that was a pretty nasty bouncy ball
to deal with. Oh man.
It's hard to say who's winning right now, is that they're doing 2 totally different categories, but
yeah, I mean we
we'll
still
just have to wait and see.
We still have 2 Mavericks to go, I believe, for ShadowZero, and Berlin is on his second.
Yeah, that charge is not going to do the job. He's going to have to go up top. In 100%, we got to take down this. What it kind of looks like a whale boat. So we can go down below, and there's a heart down here. And for these sea snakes, we can use 1 charge tornado to take them out very quickly. You see Berlin climbing the right side to take the exploding carcass of the sea snake off screen, because it generates a boatload of lag, a whale boat load even.
Yeah. And to get just back to who is winning, it's really hard to say, because Berlin is actually ahead in terms of 8 map speed right now. but you will have to think about the fact that he will get the Hadoken, meaning that he has to run through the Dillo stage quite a few times, and that will allow ShadowZero to most likely enter the Sigma stages first. So, and then we'll have to see from out there, but Berlin having the Hadoken will definitely be at an advantage for clearing the Sigma stages.
Here we see Berlin utilizing the charge shots on Launch Octopus. He opened the fight with one, and then he got one while he was doing the laundry cycle attack, so that shaves one hit off the fight at the very end. It's not the fastest way to handle the laundry cycles, but it's certainly the safest.
Yeah, that's true. And I've actually not really seen... Excuse me. It's kind of late over here. I've not really actually seen anyone else doing that charged rolling shield strat on Octopus in this tournament so far. Well, maybe it's because I haven't seen that many races, but...
You wouldn't be able to do it in the 8 maps. You'd only be able to do it in the refights because you don't have the Buster upgrade.
Well, I know that, but I saw Berlin do it earlier base in the refight. But even at that point, I've not seen anyone else do it in the refight either.
Some firewave strats here from ShadowZero.
Yeah.
I like how when you shoot it backwards, it gets extra long on the carts.
Yeah, and a little bit of a fun fact about the Firewave, that this item, this weapon, has really, really weird properties in terms of damage output. You have the mole bore, if I'm not mistaken in the name there, the machine that's digging around. If you shoot the Firewave from really close by, it seems to be taking very little damage. But if you are chasing behind it with your Firewave only just the tip, scratching the butt of the mole bore, it dies like instantly. It just evaporates. It's really awkward, and no one really understands how Firewave truly works, but it's very awkward. But as far as I know, even people who've tasked this game feel like it's a very awkward item to use.
So we see Berlin go in and get that heart. That's one of the instances where the stages change depending on which Mavericks have been defeated. And
sorry.
And since Octopus has been defeated, the lower portion of Chameleon stage is full of water, which allows us to get to the heart. The other option, well, there's two other options. One being to Phantom grab it with a boomerang, then do Chameleon third, but nobody does that. The other is to use an ice sled to get across there and do Chameleon, something like fifth, so that you have access to the charge sea sting earlier, but this is the slightly faster route, is to do Chameleon last.
Yeah, and Berlin actually there with really nice ending to the Chameleon stage. I really like how you use the rolling shield to just jump through the entire swamp for free.
Yeah, so has Shadow done Mammoth yet? I think he has, right? Yeah, he was using the Firewave. So both runners on their last map. Berlin has finished up his. He's gonna have to go revisit the Penguin stage for one final heart, which is inaccessible until you have Firewave. Firewave, yes. And most runners opt to save that for last once they have the charge sea sting ability and can sort of just sprint through the stage to get directly to the heart. And then after that, we get to go back to Dillo and do the sleepy portion of the run. Some Dillo revisits.
Huh? What happened to ShadowZero?
Yeah, where are you, Utu? What is going on? He's bonked him twice, but he's not coming out of the ground. What is this?
What? I've never seen this before.
I've never seen this before in my life. What? It can't. Nope, can't go. Where is he, dude? Oh, he's got him. He's got him.
What?
I don't know what the heck that was. Somebody's gonna have to look into that one.
Okay, I hope someone clips that. If not, please, be fast and clip that for well, science, because I have never seen this before. I mean, you've played this game 1,000 times more than me. Well, 5,000 times. even more than me, and you were all surprised as I am.
ShadowZero's gonna have to be careful. Yeah, he's gonna use what little sub tank juice he has right now because he was pretty low health. This Octo fight being very dangerous.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't really blame him because whatever happened there at the Ouroboros is really strange. I mean, he got hit twice, probably taking a lot of damage just from that. And
yeah, I couldn't even see him.
not even.
Yeah, very strange things happening to ShadowZero on this run. But Berlin now, after collecting that sub tank, has collected all 8 hearts, all 4 sub tanks, the 4 armor upgrades, and has defeated all 8 Mavericks, and can now go jump in a pit a few times.
At this point, he is so tired of his life that he just wants to end it right here in this stage. Yeah, so in order to get the Hadoken in this game, you need to collect every single item there is and do literally everything you can outside the Sigma stages. And at that point, you are allowed to go back to the Dillo stage, and you need to see a specific point 4 times, and on your 5th visit to that specific point, which is on your right there, where the health is, oh crap, berlindude almost blocked that door, there will be a capsule where your dad, Dr. White, or Light, I don't remember which name he has on this version.
It's Light, Dr.
Well,
Light.
Dr. Light, your dad. We'll just call him Daddy for now. It's a lot easier. Teaches you how to do the Hadoken as if you were Ryu. Perhaps he's just a really grown-up Ryu.
Yeah, so the fastest way to see this point, and the point is, ooh, that's not going to work, Berlin. You're going to have to climb up there, buddy. The point is just to the right of that health capsule there, and that's where the capsule spawns.
Yeah.
The fastest way to see it 3 more times is to jump in the pit and respawn at the checkpoint. And in order to do that, you need to collect 1 extra life. Otherwise, you would game over. Luckily, in Chameleon stage, there's one directly in your path. You just throw a boomerang out without losing any time.
Meanwhile, it's worth to point out that ShadowZero has entered the Sigma Fortress. He did seem to miss out on the Sigma, sorry, not the Sigma, the Vile skip. And Berlin's taking a little bit more safe on his visits, as he had a little bit of issues in the last one. And
it should be his last death. Granted, his other 2 visits were good, and he didn't miss the one the first time through when he fought Armadillo. And so
yeah, that's something I've actually not paid attention to with Berlin, if he got all of his visits in. And there's a capsule.
There's our secret capsule.
Dr. Light in his little training suit, going like, "Hey son, what up?"
Meanwhile, ShadowZero taking down Vile very quickly. Nice fight. Took some damage, but should be okay for the remainder of this. Maybe seeing some farming.
Yes, he does have to do. He doesn't necessarily have to die. He just needs to visit a specific point in the stage multiple times. But the fastest way to visit that stage at that point several times is to die and respawn at the checkpoint. So Berlin now also entering Sigma 1, and you're going to see the difference here between what it's like to do this in any percent and 100%, because, well, the fights are gonna go.
Berlin's time loss to 100% is not over yet. We have the Vile sequence coming up, which is another unwinnable fight. So he is gonna have to take some extra damage here that ShadowZero did not have to take. But after this, he's going to be flying through the rest of this fortress with the Hadouken. The Hadouken does 32 damage per hit, and conveniently enough, all the bosses have 32 health. There are some enemies in the game that have more and actually take more than 1 Hadouken to kill. But
yeah, we will have to look at ShadowZero here. He's on really low HP, and I don't think he has a sub tank to use against Koanger.
Yeah, he just
he does appear to be using some very
safe
safe
with that
strats.
boomerang.
But Koanger is actually one of those bosses that does not really care about you jumping on the ceiling, because he can throw his boomerang right up your butt. Oh, yeah, meanwhile, anyone that is not used to seeing this game run with the Hadouken, take a look on your right, because you're not going to see Vile for very long. 3, wait, I started too early, I forgot that text thing.
There's ShadowZero doing some firing.
1, and there's a rolling shield. What the hell? What?
He Forgot his category. Now he's got Fire Wave out. He takes a hit. So one of the things about Hadouken is that you have to have full health to be able to throw it.
Sorry, I couldn't fats out that guy. Okay, never mind. For some awkward reason, we do not actually use the Hadouken in this 100% speedrun. Yeah. File was supposed to die in a single hit off screen there, but Berlin has, as I was in the stream earlier, did mention that he has not run 100% for a while, so perhaps he simply forgot he had to swap back to his Buster. And that was probably the thing. I am pretty sure he will have done the Hadouken input, the quarter circle forward, and shoot. But yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to have to use a sub-tank here so that he can Hadouken Kwanger. Kwanger is a pretty straightforward Hadouken. Just do the quarter circle forward. You can actually buffer it when his health is full, and then sort of mash the shoot button.
Also, yes, the left side is definitely being watched, making sure ShadowZero is actually doing fine. But you can see he is on Bow Spider right now, and Berlin is just, you know, blazing through these stages.
Just reading the pattern here and there, but this should be the one. It's pretty safe.
Yeah, looks it. ShadowZero just finished up the Bow Spider, so...
Berlin is going to be hot on his heels here if he can get this Hadouken.
Yeah, just look what's going to happen here, provided I don't jinx it again. Okay, that's a pretty good pattern, and boom! There you go. That was a Bow Spider, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this fight, because, I mean, yeah, that was it. So, this weapon, the Hadouken, just changes so much of this game. Shadow... Ooh. Taking a little bit of a danger route on the start of those platforms. And actually seems to be taking a look if he can't refill his sub-tanks here. But this is really where it's not going to... Where Berlin is going to pick up the speed really fast.
He's more than likely going to pass ShadowZero during this Penguin fight.
Yeah.
Penguin has a very predictable pattern. He always throws an ice cube first, which you can jump over, and then Hadouken him in the face, and there it is. And Berlin takes the lead.
Yeah, this is what we did mention before, is that in 100% the Signal Fortress, well, by taking candy from a baby. Did you know that Walrus is really good at is like the world champion of taking candy from a baby? So yeah, and then here we have Eagle. So, but who cares about RNG birds when you can just one-shot them, right?
Yeah, the refights are all pretty simple. Kwanger can troll you a bit, as can a couple other bosses like Rangda Bangda, but we'll see what kind of pattern he gives Berlin here.
Yeah, and you see here, ShadowZero needs to take down all of these bosses. Actually fighting the bosses, you know. And Berlin gets, almost a double Hadou pattern, but we'll still have to do some of this fight on Seasting. But that's not going to be too bad. This is a really good fight still. The RNG was quite in his favor.
Yeah, so we won't see any slowdown from Berlin here. He's taking the lead and will likely not be looking back. ShadowZero, meanwhile, making use of some missile strats here. I noticed his C-Sting was pretty low, so he finished the second half of the Eagle refight with the Buster, so that he could save some, as it is also Rangda's weakness.
Yeah.
See, Berlin goes for this safe strat, this D-boost sled strat. It's a viable strat, certainly. In
oh, he jumps early. He spawns the Dillo.
Yeah, Dillo incoming. You get a goofy Dillo spray. Oh, and the blue miners, very nice.
Yeah, we get the blue miners.
The thing about that D-boost strat that he used to get the Dillo skip is that you need full health to do the Hadouken, so he did have to use another sub tank. And it was a little early because you have to menu here anyway, so the best strat, and he's taking another hit. Ouch. So he's not going to be able to get the air hotto here. He's just going to go for the boomerangs, it looks like. Unless he's doing something. He's going to use his last sub-tank. He thinks Chameleon's coming down, and he gets, ooh, a nice backup. Very nice. Okay.
I need a little bit of luck on that one, because if Chameleon just goes back up, you're kind of screwed here. And yeah, I see a lot of chat hype about what happened there with Dillo, but you can indeed skip the fight. But what most of you might not know is that Dillo is actually still there, and if you move the camera up too early, you can still spawn him, and he will still do his normal fight. The only thing is you can't get back into his room when you go too far, and if he does roll out of it to follow you towards Chameleon, you can still come there if you want to. Well, you know, he gets a little bit glitchy. Puts on a new suit for the day.
Berlin gets swallowed by a fish, Hotto's his way out. He's going to do it again here. Swag Dukins from within the fishes.
Yeah, that's another little thing with the Hadoukens that you probably wouldn't think of, but you can just one-shot the fishes from the inside. Kind of a cool spec to it.
Octo, another very easy Hadouken. He always jumps towards you.
Yeah.
And shoots his missiles. So if you just shoot one lemon to start the fight, it'll always block the low missile, and you can Hadouken underneath him. The only thing is his jump height can vary, so you have to be sort of patient. Make sure you know what he's doing, and so that you don't Hadouken underneath him and miss. Because if you do miss the immediate Hadouken, getting him backup is pretty unlikely unless he does his laundry cycle.
ShadowZero attempting to grab the ammo, the new final boss of the game. Was very elusive for a moment. And oh, Mehmet, really big and fat, but poop. But now, one difficult Shadow is coming up for Berlin. It's the Direx Shadow. You take it from there. I will be watching Shadow, who is currently tackling the gorilla.
It's one punch from Mandrill, but it's looking like a pretty clean fight. Berlin does not go for the Dom Dukin, but does get the easy pattern backup for the auto. Direct can do two things. He can come down at an angle, which is very easy to auto. The other one is he can come straight across and then try to chomp down on top of you, which is much more difficult to time the auto, but still doable.
ShadowZero picking up some extra HP and ammo there, making sure he is well stacked for the rest of the stage.
So Berlin ascending into the final three fights here. Should be no problems for him from here. He can auto both the first two forms. The third form can't be Hadoukened. I mean, you could hit him with it. It just doesn't do any damage.
Clearly cheating.
For the final fight, he's got all tanks and armor. Should be pretty smooth sailing from here.
Yeah, there should be little issues. There we have the butt Dukin on the dog, who flips forwards and explodes right on his butt. It's my favorite. And then, yeah, Jedi storms at you, but nope. Nope. He's trying to slash me in the face, but nope.
Jedi Hotto's another one of those buffered Hottos, similar to Kwanger earlier. Just throw the Hotto as soon as possible, it'll always hit him.
Yeah, and this is really the thing with if you go Hundo, these just don't mean anything. Like that, even if you get trolled by claws here, you would have to take so many hits to actually be in danger. You could legit even tank those lightnings right now if you wanted to. I mean, look, he just got hit by a claw. His HP bar barely moves. ShadowZero, meanwhile,
what is he doing here?
Not really sure. There's not any sub tanks. Wait, why does he not have any sub tanks?
One more shot. He's gonna hang out on the claw here. I'm not sure what his plan is here. And he's trying to cross him up.
Like, did the same thing to him in the earlier race. Going on here.
Waiting for that right claw to come across. No, he's not gonna go for the cross up. Meanwhile, ShadowZero. Oh man, he's kind of stuck in a corner here, taking a bit of damage. Gonna need to need to start dishing out some damage of his own, but watch out for that purple ball in the chomp. Oh man. Berlin finishes the fight finally.
Yeah, probably the one that's timer to go is over 40.
One more shot for Shadow, but he's in a dangerous spot. No, and he gets choked. Oh
I mean, oh
no.
my Valgarder. Oh, that's pretty unfortunate. If he had actually just stood still on the left and done a simple jump shoot, he would have made that. Now he's a little bit tight on ammo. He can't afford to drop too much in this new attempt at this fight.
Yeah, his ammo's a bit low, but he should have enough. A little hovering mega there for a second. He fell on his butt, and then the platform went out from underneath him.
Oh my!
He's getting knocked off those walls. This is the thing about you can't cheese him like you can a lot of other bosses by hiding in the corner. D-Rex is having none of that. He bangs into the wall and knocks X on his butt. Getting beat up again here, but
rough
on ShadowZero, you got this
time. Come on. No. See, this is one of the things with D-Rex is that you can really... Ooh, that's dangerous to do, my boy. No.
Oh no.
Okay, this is dangerous, and I don't know how many lives he has. I'm not sure if he takes another death here, and that's not impossible when he is without boomerangs. This could well turn into a game over.
Yeah, now he's completely out of boomerang. He's gonna have to do Buster only strats. Dash lemons are probably the way to go here. They do 2 damage each, and are fairly easy to hit D-Rex with. But again, getting banged around a little bit.
Trying to get on the wall, and here as well, he takes more hits because he's standing right there, and you can't get out of D-Rex's body right there if he stucks you against the wall, because you can't jump out of that position. And as you can see right there, he was on the top side of the wall, but D-Rex fires a shot up there. It's really
that top spot is not not necessarily safe.
ShadowZero. Oh, face does another life, so
and he's gonna give it one more go here. When
those
purple balls are coming out,
dang.
When those purple balls are coming out, the strat most people will do is to dash underneath them. Hiding in the corner is not safe unless you sort of bait them to shoot a little lower and then climb at the last second. But you're just hiding in the corner the whole time. The balls can reach. Oh, he was able to clear that one. The purple balls is actually probably one of the more friendly patterns he can do, just because he's predictable, right? He's doing, you know what he's going to be doing for a little bit, whereas with these other patterns that he does, he's a little more chaotic, but dishing out some good DPS here, not taking a lot of damage. This is going to be the one. I got a good feeling. Only 2 more dash lemons to go. A little low, but this is
there we
right
go.
here.
That's one more. All right. Literally free. It's like nothing ever happened. I didn't see him die at all in this run so far. What a guy. Wish I was that good.
Yeah, D-Rex is one of the tougher bosses, I think, in the 80% category. Especially if you're used to 100%, where you just take him down very quickly.
That's true. That's true.
I had to pick sort of 3 gatekeepers of the run. The first is obviously Kwanger. We've seen many deaths on Kwanger. The second is Bow Spider. We've seen many deaths on that one as well. And D-Rex also. I mean, obviously the final boss is very, very difficult and very dangerous. I wouldn't call him a gatekeeper at the end of the run. Yeah,
Block Bob, a Dash Lemon, actually does double damage compared to a normal lemon. Normal lemon does 1 damage. Lemon does 2 damage. And we see ShadowZero meanwhile doing some farming, getting all the just stacked up. Meanwhile, also worth mentioning, Berlin after this race will be 2-1 in his group, meaning that he secures at least the 2nd spot, or perhaps a tied first if 2 stop drops anything anywhere. And that means that we will be moving on out of the groups into the brackets, ready to kick more butt. And there's still a whole lot of butt in this tournament.
X3 actually has dash lemons. They just don't work on bosses. They only work on regular enemies. Minowats.
Oh. Okay, ShadowZero dealing with Valgarder here, who fancily explodes into quite a few pieces. Ready for the scrapyard. And now we're going to go and put Jedi into the scrapyard as well. Oh yeah, right. Almost forgot that Shadow takes is a little bit different than most runners. Placing his shots to right to Sigma in the middle.
Yeah, it seems a little riskier to me, just to the naked eye, but he seems to have.
Well, I mean, if he's used
figured
to
this out, so yeah, he's got it down pretty good. He is only getting 4 hits per cycle, whereas the wall strat gets 5. But
takes a little extra hit there.
and he got a little off script here with Jedi ending in the middle of the room, sort of threw him for a loop. But he should have. Did he grab 2 sub tanks or just the 1?
I know he had 2 in the first race, so I assume he has 2 now as well. But I don't quite remember it because we had quite a lot of focus on the 100% run of Berlin. Oh, look, there it is.
Yeah, he's got 1.5 sub tanks here. So
yeah, that's enough for.
Should be in a pretty good spot. Taking a bit of damage right away though. Might wanna pull out that.
Yeah, that's the lightning coming into his butt. No.
Oh, he's escaped it. But that other claw's gonna hit him in the face, so he's got to use it anyways.
So this...
oh man! All right, this is it, Shadow. You got to do it. I believe in you.
All right. Okay. The situation seems calm down a little bit. I should just be quiet because I feel like Colonel Fatso right now.
Yeah.
Already he said something earlier in this run.
Here comes that right claw again. Pins him into the corner. Left claw is spamming lightning. Like this is Street Fighter or something, but he gets it done.
Okay,
46-34 on his timer.
Yeah, all right. I'm really glad he finished that because it was starting to look pretty tight. But
yeah, pretty clutch finish.
Really clutch, but he made it out. He made it out. That's really nice.
Whew.
What a race! And well, that means we have a nice step forward today in the group of these guys, which it's wrong. Let me see which group this is. This is Group H with 2 stop Berlin, ShadowZero, and JFM, who right now should be at a 2-1 for Berlin. Double stop on a win, and both Shadow and JFM on a loss. And I see we're here that we are
joined by berlindude1.
Yep.
Hey, congratulations on your victory, locking up a spot in the bracket for yourself. Man, how do you go and do 6 races in one day? How do you manage that? That's got to be.
It's not so difficult. It's just I'm used to long streams. Yeah, I'm playing a lot of really long things, like 2, 3, 4 hours, so it's not a problem for me. But, yeah, I'm used to that. Fine.
Yeah, I've seen your deck effectas before and stuff, so that prepared you for your long day of Mega Man X Any % races today. ShadowZero, I see you're muted. I don't know if you wanted to actually do an interview. Oh, there he is.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, man, congrats on I see you got a big PB in your run.
Yeah, went down from 45, I think 45-34 to 42-19, so it wasn't too bad.
Nice, man.
Yeah, that's
definitely
a
nice
pretty large, pretty big PB. So congratulations on that. Unfortunately, you weren't able to come away with the victory here. Berlin, dude, too strong. That German efficiency.
For a minute there, I was just kind of looking. I was just, you intentionally go to Eagle first? I have my stream open up, and I'm like, I don't think you should be doing that, buddy. And then I see the 100% items being picked up, and I'm like, okay, I see where this is going.
I'm sorry, I told him to do it.
Hashtag blame Drago.
I'm still right now. The only thing that's questioning me, and it's now forever in history. What happened during Octo? I'm never going to figure out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do some speed science there. We don't know what the heck happened. Berlin, I don't know if you saw it, but the Utaburos never came out of the ground.
It just stayed. I heard the animation. I thought, did I crash the game? Did the game crash?
I actually legit thought that you soft locked, but I think some people clipped it in the chat, so I think we're gonna have some discussions over on the MMX Discord about this and see if anyone can figure out what just happened there.
Yeah,
Did you beat it anyway, or what?
Yeah, I still got through it. I was just like, kind of like maybe it's one of those where like the game just gives me a freebie and can like let me go, but then it was just like no, you got to still kill it. And I was just like, okay, I fire one tornado and it somehow kills it, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Right,
So, anyways, it looks like we got to wrap this interview up pretty quickly. We got some Link to the Past randomizer daily races coming up. So, Berlin, congratulations on your victory, advancing to groups. I look forward to seeing you in the bracket. And ShadowZero, good luck on your next upcoming races. I don't know what sort of schedule we have for more Mega Man. I think this is the last race of the day.
This will be the last race for today, but tomorrow we have Gear Bear versus Chi and Delsa MX versus Reaps, both at the same time, so there will probably be a really big stream with 4 restreams on it.
Yeah, should be fun. So shout out again. EST. I want to shout out again to the folks over at Speed Gaming for hosting our tournament. If you do happen to miss any of the races and want to see them later, the content will all be up on the YouTube channel, as well as all the future races down the road. If you missed anything that you really wanted to see, you could always check it out there. So with that, I think we're done here. Any final thoughts, Drago?
No, my thoughts were broken a while ago already.
All right.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for everything.
GG's, guys. Thanks for the show, Shadow and Berlin. Don't forget to follow our runners. And we'll see you
everyone.
next time.
And follow everyone. Thanks, Walrus, for assisting on commentary as my mind is going down at this hour. So,
all right. So thanks from the MMX guys, and enjoy some Link to the Past random, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Laters.
Ciao.